Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. In the episode today, we will dissect the situation when you're upset, you feel like you need space because you don't want to yell at your child, but he or she is so clingy. That's exactly the moment when they want you and they keep running at you. They want your hug, they want to be consoled and comforted. But you are feeling inside, oh my goodness, this is too much for me. I need time out. I need space. So in the end, you might even end up yelling at them just to chase them away so that you have space to calm down. And then you go and apologize because you know that was not okay. But you feel in that moment, I need space. I can't get space. And oh my goodness, what do I do then to not yell and get that space to calm down? Is that happening to you more often than you would like? Then let's dive into it today. Hi, I'm Elena Gomez Rodriguez, and I'm a mental fitness coach for busy moms. And this is the first podcast to help you increase your stress resistance so that you can become a Zen supermom and simply do it all while staying calm and happy. Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi Supermom, Elena here, your mommy tantrum specialist and the founder of the Zen Supermom system, where we help moms, probably like you, who are so loving but so overwhelmed that you end up yelling at your kids. So how do you set up healthy boundaries without losing your patience with them? Well, that's exactly what we help with. And this podcast is intended to help you in specific situations, to show you what it takes to be calm while effectively addressing any behaviors or situations that do need to be cleaned up. And today specifically, we will talk about the dynamic between you and your child when you feel like it's too much for you. You don't want to yell, you don't want to lose your patience, but it's just too much. You feel like you're giving your kid everything. Like, I'm giving you so much of my time, so much of my attention, but right now I need space. Leave me alone for a moment. And especially if it got into some triggering situation, your child did something that you didn't like, you were trying to explain, like no or enough, and they are still not listening, or they are upset because something happened. They are hurt physically or emotionally. They are maybe tired at the end of the day when they need to just like decompress. So they are clinging for your attention. It feels like you cannot give them enough of you. And you feel it's enough. It was too much for me. I need to remove myself from the situation. I need to take time out. I need space. And you start even like physically pushing them away, saying, those are my boundaries, basically. Leave me alone just for a second so that I can recollect myself, find my peace again, and then I can handle you, my child. And that's not working, right? Because the more you push yourself, the more distance you're trying to create between you and them, the more they will be coming back at you. And that's what's happening right now. So let's have a look at it. Yeah? Because this topic just came up in our group call yesterday with our clients, and I could connect still. Like, those feelings are so familiar to me because this was my stage on my journey as well. I recognize that. So I started up being overwhelmed, stressed out mom. I was yelling. I hated that. I managed not to yell in the next stage. But then there was still this feeling of overwhelm. It's too much. Please leave me alone. I can't handle this. I can't give you a hug. I understand you need a hug to calm down, but I need space to calm down. And I was struggling with how to balance that because I still remember those feelings. That's exactly how I was feeling. I was so frustrated then because I felt I needed space. My daughter was not giving me enough space. So then I would even say, and this is so twisted, right? Then I would even say something mean to chase her away, to make her go away, so that I would have finally a moment when I could calm down, so that then I could go back to her, then I could give her the hug, then I could reconnect. And I was looking for ways. I kept looking for ways how to make that work. because I was thinking, okay, well, congratulations for not yelling, but this is still not working because my daughter is still hurting and I'm still feeling out of control, overwhelmed by my emotions. So what is it that I'm missing here? And that's why I want to share this with you, because you're absolutely not alone if that's what you're struggling with. It's not your fault. I will keep repeating that. You will keep hearing me saying that everywhere. It's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to clean it up. Okay? It's not the fault of your child. It's not the fault of your husband, who should be helping you more. It's not the fault of your family, who's not around. It's not the fault of the culture and the system, who's pushing us into being supermoms. The moment you give in to those judging and victim voices in your head, you're giving your power away. So let's admit it what it is. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, you have the full right to feel stressed out. No, you're not making it up. No, it's not your fault. It is tough to be a mom, especially if you have any kind of special conditions. You're a single mom, divorced mom, you're an expatriate mom, not having enough support. When your kids get sick, especially, and there's so much pressure, your calendar goes out of the window, you're not sleeping at night. It is tough. Let's have compassion for ourselves, okay? Let's start there. And congratulations, first of all, for recognizing that and looking for ways to clean that up and get better, okay? Because without judging or without pointing fingers, there are lots of moms out there who just say, well, too bad. That's what it is. That's what my parents did to me. You just need to listen, do as you're told, when I tell you, because I'm the parent, I know best, and you just suck it up, okay? No judging, everybody's on their path. It is their choice. You want to choose differently. You want to do it differently. That's why you're here. So let's celebrate that as a first win, okay? Because you could have taken the easy way, just not be bothered and continue. And then the cycle would just continue with your kids when they became parents, when they become eventually parents, okay? You're not doing that. So pat on the back. I know your judge would want to beat you up for how not good mom you are, and that's not true. I know you're doing the best you can. That's why you're here, okay? So let's take a deep breath in. Let's start in that place. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. You take a sip of something for you, or just breathe to calm down that hijack. Once you do, it's important to understand what is happening, what is really going on. Because unless you do, you'll be grabbing on things that do not work. You will keep wasting your time with parenting techniques, which are all about blaming your kid. Like, just give me that magic sentence or two that will make my kid stop so that I can calm down. Because I cannot calm down, I cannot handle myself. Help me control my kid. You see how twisted that is? We cannot wish to raise emotionally aware human beings who are managing effectively their emotions unless you can do that for yourself. That's why it starts with you. Okay, so let's have a look what's going on with you in those moments. So have that situation in front of your eyes. I'm going to describe the situation that my client described yesterday night on the call. So she was saying, because her trigger is her daughter being sick. That's when she's usually feeling the most triggered and the most overwhelmed, when her daughter is sick and she's asking a lot of her attention. And my client, she feels, I'm giving her already so much. I'm already doing everything. I feel, because I don't want to be that bad mom, I'm already going above and beyond. I'm giving her everything, and she still keeps asking for more, and I can't handle it, especially if she wants my hug and then she starts screaming loud in my ear. I cannot take it anymore. Okay, your scenario might be different, a different color of it. For me, it was usually when my daughter was already tired in the evenings. There was something I wanted her to do, like, let's get going with our evening routine, brushing teeth, finishing the dinner, something she was resisting to do. I did not want to yell, but I started being mean at her, and she could feel the shift in my energy. And the more she felt me being mean and pushing her away, the more she was trying to get at me, and she was trying to get a hug. But it was triggering me because it was too much. I felt it's too much. I need to remove myself. You just get going. And I was even running away to the bathroom or wherever I could get my peace because I couldn't handle it. Why is that happening to us? This is a sign of trauma. Okay? Call it however you want. Some people get a little bit like, they jump up when I start talking about trauma. Call it childhood pain. I don't care how you call it, childhood experience, negative childhood experience, whatever you call it. What it means is that it's part of you that got stuck in your past when you were little because you were not getting something. Okay? And if you're telling me that you cannot center back yourself and stay with a calm mind in any situation when you feel like your response is either fight, yell, flight, run away, create distance, remove yourself, freeze. There are women who go numb, like I don't feel anything, I just go blank. I just start cleaning the bathroom and I'm like, it's okay, pretending it's not happening. Or fawn, deer in the headlight. Like, those are trauma responses. Whenever that happens to you, it's a signal for you to get curious. There's something in there, and until I clean it up, it will keep biting me in the butt. Okay. So in this case that we are talking about, okay, you don't yell, so you don't fight, but you want to flight, you want to remove yourself. That is still a trauma response. And we will talk about it. It is still hurting your child and your relationship with them. Okay, that's why we want to clean it up. Why is it that you have a trauma? Even though you will tell me, like I felt, you had a happy childhood, you had great parents, they did the best they could. Yes, sometimes they were yelling, sometimes they were stressed, but whose parents aren't? Isn't that normal? Yes, it is. And yes, it's a trauma. If you feel like you need to remove yourself to collect, get back in control of your emotions, there are several scenarios why that would be happening. Even if you don't have any visual, like flashback memories from your childhood, this is something that most likely was happening. One of the typical scenarios is that you were left to cry it out as a baby. So you kind of learned to self-soothe and start managing your emotions by yourself. That's one very classic scenario, and especially if you're in my generation, that was the thing for the moms. Again, not their fault. There were books that were teaching them, don't make your child spoiled, let them cry it out and learn how to regulate themselves. Well, there's already enough of psychological research to tell you this is actually very damaging, so please don't do that. If you did it with your kids, do not activate your judge and inner critic, it's done. But that's why we need to keep working so that you can help your kids clean that up in them as well. You can help them heal it. Okay. Back to you. Cry it out. One of the possible scenarios would happen to you in your past. Another option is that there was a lot of drama going on. You might have witnessed your parents getting into huge fights, getting very emotional, getting like your household was noisy, maybe in general. Not even in a negative way, but sometimes in just neutral way, it was noisy. There are some cultures who are more noisy, and there are some individuals who are more sensitive to noise, who are more likely to be overwhelmed by noise. And little caveat here, I'm getting more and more moms whose kids are being diagnosed with ADHD, and they then are diagnosed as well later on, that because they see themselves in their kids, they are suffering from very similar symptoms. And one of the things, and different labels, whatever the label is, sometimes even not ADHD, is sensitivity and being overwhelmed by noise, by just too much, like sensory overwhelm. So then you need to calm down. And that's actually one of the basic human needs for everybody. That's natural. Whenever, and especially for kids. Yeah, whenever there's too much, you will naturally need to balance it off with some calmer time. And if you were growing up in a household where this was on a daily basis, when this was happening, then this is the consequence of it. You need space, being by yourself, to kind of bring it all back to you and calm down your nervous system. Okay, that's another possible scenario on why you're trying to detach. And probably the biggest reason why this is happening to you, why you feel you need your space to collect your thoughts and calm down, it's because your mom, your parents didn't teach you, didn't help you regulate, that's the expression they use, regulate your nervous system, control, manage your emotions. They did not help you. They were pushing you away. They were not available when you were struggling with something. So you didn't feel heard. You didn't feel like I can rely on anybody if I'm feeling upset, if I'm feeling nervous, if I'm scared, frightened, tired, exhausted. I'm being pushed away. My emotions are not invited and I'm not accepted if I show them. Because your parents couldn't handle it. They were pushing you away. They were putting a boundary, kind of like, this is, by the way, why I hate those parenting tips, like quiet chair or a quiet corner or timeout, things of any kind, because that tells your child you're not acceptable. Until you calm down, don't come back. And that's exactly the message. That's the reason why you're here. This taught you that there's a part of you that's not acceptable, and this gave you the message, you need to figure it out on your own. Rather than supporting you, because the bigger emotions you had, the more support you needed from your parents, they couldn't handle it. So they pushed you away to say, not okay, you figure it out on your own. So this is what you're still doing. You're trying to figure it out on your own because you didn't learn any better way how to do that. And one of the aha moments that my clients shared yesterday afterwards, after the call, from that coaching that she got, which was only a few minutes, I'm going to go much more in depth today here with you. She said one of the biggest aha moments was when I said that how you react when you're triggered by your child is the age at which you got stuck emotionally. Okay. So if your trauma is going all the way back to you being left alone to cry it out, then your reaction when you get triggered in a similar situation, when you feel not loved and you feel like nobody's coming to help you, then you will react as a 6 months old, 1 year old. If the trauma is going back to the times when you were sat on that timeout chair, put in a corner or closed in your room, kind of like go back to your room and come back when you calm down, when you were little, when you were 2, 3, 4 years old, then who's going to jump up at your kid when they trigger you will be your 2, 3, 4-year-old. You will have a reaction of a 3-year-old from back then. Because that's where you got stuck. That's what trauma does to you. You get frozen in that emotional space when you needed the help the most and you didn't get it. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. And I do not want to trigger your judge by saying that now, like your inner critic who's already probably firing up, telling you, oh my goodness, I'm doing the same to my kids now by pushing them away. Am I not? Well, yes, you are. But this is the good news. Now you understand, and I'm going to tell you how to start cleaning that up. Okay? But listen up, because we need to have a look at the other side. You really need to understand what's going on. Without your judge, without your victim, let those voices sit back at the end of your bus. You keep driving. Take some deep breaths. Take a pause in this podcast if you need to, because we have to continue. We have to have a look at what's going on with your child so that you understand. Okay. When your child feels clingy, when they are begging for your attention, when they are triggering your attention even in a negative way, especially when they are asking for attention in a negative way, doing something they know they are not supposed to do, laughing at your face, knowing it's going to trigger you, telling you you're the worst mom in the world and it's all your fault, the more mean they become, the more it should be a sign to you, okay, they are hurting, they need something. Okay, they are doing that only to get something they are not feeling right now. Okay. They are not doing it because they are mean, because they want to hurt you. Well, unless they are teenagers, then they want to hurt you because they want you to feel the pain they are feeling. So again, it goes back to their pain. Nobody who's ever felt calm and loved, worthy of all the unconditional love in the world and being at peace, like those people don't hurt others. They don't have the reason to do that. Why people hurt each other? Because they are hurting themselves. So the more your kid is acting up, the more they are hurting inside. Okay. Now, what to do with that information? Now let's play that scenario. If you cannot handle it, you start removing yourself. They will keep coming at you, and that's again another signal of what they need. For some reason, they don't feel loved. Like that's the core of everything. If ever you're in doubt, what is it that your kids are missing? They are missing love. That's what all of us need, right? At any age. We want to feel loved unconditionally, no matter what. So especially, and this happens so often, I cannot tell you how many times I hear that per day, that your kid does something they know they shouldn't be doing, or they make a mistake, they mess up, they are afraid you'll get mad at them. So congratulations, you might not get mad, you might not yell, but they need that reassurance. They want that reassurance. They are coming to you to ask for a hug, especially if they kicked their sibling or they told you something nasty, they did something wrong, and then they are coming for a hug to you, and you're feeling, I'm not going to spoil you, that would reward you for that behavior. I'm not going to do that. I'm mad right now at you. I don't want to give you a hug. But the more you're trying to push them away, the more they will be coming at you, because the more they need their hug, they need that reassurance. I'm still loved. That's their need. They are showing you their need for being loved unconditionally. Just like you, they want to feel, it's okay, I made a mistake, my mom still loves me. I'm still lovable. I'm still enough. She still sees me, and she's going to keep taking care of me because she loves me. That's the reassurance they are looking for there when they are coming back at you and they need a hug. Okay. And in the case of my client, her daughter wanted a hug while she was still screaming in her ear, because she was still evacuating that emotional overwhelm. Okay. I know it's triggering for you if your kids are screaming. Then again, go and dig out your trauma. Maybe you were not allowed to scream when you were a kid. You were told to shut up, so now you're trying to make your kids shut up. Sometimes they scream or shout because if they're not shouting at you, they're just loud because there's something so unbearable physically for them that they need to get it out. Just like when you yell, remember the last time you yelled, how great it felt to let let go of that pressure and that steam, just because it feels great the moment you let it out, right? That's exactly what your kids are doing. At least that's what this scenario was about. The daughter, she needed a hug, aka feel loved unconditionally no matter what, while she was still screaming because she needed to evacuate that pressure, those emotions. Okay, and we want them to do that. We want the kids to be able to do that when they're little, right? They don't know any better. You can learn them better ways, more effective ways later on, if you know how to do it yourself. That's why we are here. But for the smaller kids, this is completely natural reaction, right? They don't have any other better way, so we want them to let it out. That's still the better case scenario than if you would tell them, not acceptable, don't yell, I don't care that you're tired or whatever, we just don't scream at this house. But then what they do is not only the trauma of not being lovable unconditionally, not worthy enough, not good enough, but they internalize the anger. They learn to shut the anger down. And by the way, this is what's happening to a lot of men as well. That's where depression comes from. Okay, I'm going to do like a shortcut, very simplified. Go and read up. Depression is suppressed anger. And read Dr. Gabor Mate if you want to know what suppressed anger, what else it does, because all autoimmune disease and cancers and everything else that where your body turns fighting against itself, you can find there are lots of people pleasers who are having it, who are struggling, especially with these conditions. Lots of people pleasers who were taught not okay. Not okay to show your emotions. You have to make sure that you take care of everybody else. Be quiet so that you don't disturb them. And I don't care what you're going through, you're going to suck it up so that you don't disturb them. Okay. Start making the links. Start understanding why it's good for your kids to yell it out, especially if they're smaller. Let them yell it out and give them a hug so that they feel loved, they feel understood, they feel seen, so that you don't recreate the trauma that you have from your childhood. Start making sense, right? Okay, so how do you do that? Because yes, in that moment, I know it, I felt it, I know that what you need the most is space, because you're like, okay, but my parents didn't teach me how to do that, I cannot do it, I just feel I need space, otherwise I'm going to yell. So what to do? First thing, you need to heal that inner child. You need to heal that piece of you who got stuck back there when you were 1, 2, 3, 4 years old. She needs to heal. She needs to feel your unconditional love. That she never got enough of, at least from her parents. You need to start connecting with her and healing her. Okay. And what it's going to take is much more than just reading about inner child and like childhood developmental generational trauma therapy. That's a good place to start, but eventually you will need to choose a professional you believe, you trust, that they can do that with you, for you, and you need to start working with somebody. Okay, trauma is not a DIY, because while you're reading the steps and while you or hear somebody talk about it, describe it, you're engaging your logical brain. The trauma does not live in a logical brain. If it did, there would be no need for counseling, for therapy, for anything, because you would just read a book, you would figure it out, and you would be healed. There would be no trauma, no violence, no wars in this world, because everybody could just read a book and be fine. That's not how it works, unfortunately. It's a good thing to have awareness, but you will need professional help eventually to get that healed. Okay, so first step, healing that piece of you, that part of you who got stuck. Feeling not heard, that your emotions don't matter, that there is actually nobody who can help you deal with that, and so you need to deal with it by yourself. And that's this coping mechanism you built ever since. Well, okay, then I am going to take care of myself. Nobody else will help me regulate, so give me the space so that I can do that for myself. Okay. So once you heal the trauma, once you heal that experience, that childhood experience, spoiler alert, it's going to take unconditional self-love and compassion. That's where a lot of those self-love practices are coming in as well. Once you can do that, only then you can do the second step, which is rewiring those automated highways in your brain. That's why we do inside the Zen Supermom program, it's both. It's trauma healing and it's mental fitness. You need to rewire your brain to go from that automated reaction of like, okay, too much is coming at me, so I'm going to push it away and I'm going to run. That reaction needs to get rewired, and you need to relearn. You need to create a new pathway in your brain that will go into quick self-soothing, basically, quick self-regulation of your system. How that looks, I'm going to give you an example very specifically. So I can still feel that happening sometimes, right? It's not the trauma healing is not that you will forget everything that happened and that you will never get triggered again. How the healing looks like and feels like afterwards is that you catch it. It's a glimpse. It's a glimpse of that negative emotion again, that first automated response, which is in this wave, and for me it was as well, escape. I want to run away. I catch it. I catch it the second it happens. And what I do is self-soothe. And for me, that looks like right now, I just take a deep breath in. I realize my brain, I still stay in my brain. So my trauma doesn't hijack, doesn't take me all the way back to me being 3 or whatever I was, because I don't even remember anything consciously. But that trauma machine is disconnected. That doesn't happen anymore. And because I can stay in my logical brain, I see it, what's happening. I see it. This is not about me. This is my daughter who needs to feel loved. This is my opportunity to not create a trauma for her because that's exactly what she needs. She needs my hug right now. So I just take a deep breath in. I see, okay, the old part of you would like to get triggered, but I don't feel like I need to do it anymore. Come and give me a hug. Yes, I still love you. Yes, you kind of messed up. Yes, that was not okay. Yes, I got scared that you might get hurt, but I still love you. Come give me a hug. And we breathe together. This is something that can help you. You can even because these first 2 steps, they take a lot of time if you want to do a shortcut and get at least at some relief. Then what works really well is when you are eventually giving them the hug they are asking for, focus on the heart to heart. So put them really close to your chest. You will still feel a lot of this like, oh my goodness, I want to run away. It's too much. She's screaming in my ear, whatever. Like, notice it, catch it, say no, thank you. I choose not to listen to it. And instead choose to focus on your heart and slowing down your heartbeat. Because the moment you slow down your breathing, this is, by the way, why breathing techniques work. You slow down your breathing, you start slowing down that hijack. And because your child is connected with you, like they are chest to chest with you, naturally, without even thinking about it, they will start slowing down their breathing. There's a lot of science about the heart, about the breathing. Again, you can go down that rabbit hole, look it up. But don't get lost too much in it, because what's more important than the knowledge and the science of how it works is to know that it does work and you can start using it immediately. This is something free. This is something you can start doing today whenever you catch it. Heart to heart. Even though there's a part of you that wants to run away, have compassion for her and start slowing down your breath. Your kid will be still in that fast heartbeat. The moment they feel your heart slowing down, they will start slowing down too, eventually. The faster you can do it for yourself, the faster they will be able to do it as well. Okay? This is what is possible. And that's how I am working. Perfectly imperfect. I am still on my way. I am still mastering this. But this is what I found that works the best for me and my daughter. So recap. First of all, you will have to heal the childhood trauma that caused you to want to run away whenever things get overwhelming. Because if you don't, you will keep creating the trauma in your kids, the trauma of not feeling loved enough, not feeling heard, and being left alone, not feeling acceptable when they are having big emotions. That's setting them up for a lot of pain later on in their life, exactly like you are having right now. So let's stop that by you healing first. Second, once you can do that, you will start rewiring your brain to set up a new reaction. So instead of running away, you will do the opposite. You will connect. And one quick tip, if you want to start connecting right now, do give them a hug if that's what they are asking for and you're trying to push away. Lean in. Do give the hug. And try to connect heart to heart while intentionally slowing down your breathing so that they can slow down theirs. And that's how you co-regulate. That's actually what you needed all along. That's the reaction you needed as a kid when you were experiencing big emotions. That's what your parents could have done with you to teach you how to regulate your emotions. You cannot do it by yourself when you were a kid. Somebody needs to show you. So you are showing your child now. The more you can do that, the more you make them feel, I love you, no matter what, even though you messed up right now. I know, let's not make that happen again, but I still love you. The more you keep telling them that with your words, with your actions, with your energy, your heartbeat, your breathing, the more they will internalize. Your voice outside will become their voice inside their head. Just like you have your parents' voices still in your head, did you notice? So what is it? How is it that you want to feed that voice in your kid's head? Watch very carefully your language and your energy. Yeah? We want to feed them with these positive, reinforcing, unconditionally loving energies and words and phrases, so that that's the time when they have had enough of that, then they will be able to use that and use the breathing to self-soothe themselves eventually. We are not expect them to be perfect, because just like you, perfectly imperfect, there are situations when you can stay calm. There are situations when you cannot, because they are too heavy. That's why mental fitness is a practice, and I love calling it like fitness, because it shows you it's growing muscles. No, you don't have muscles in your brain. You have neural pathways, the connections between your cells. If you keep strengthening the connections that lead to your calm and peace, you will be able to reach calm and peace in increasingly difficult, stressful situations. Just when you're starting, it's not going to work. You'll want to take this episode and apply it tonight, and it will not work perfectly all the way till the end, and you will get mad at yourself. You'll get mad at me. You will tell me it doesn't work. Bullshit. Let me look for another parenting technique. No. Think again. The challenge is right now heavier, bigger than where your muscle strength is. You just need to practice more, having more patience, more compassion with yourself, and recognizing it is something that is learned over time. And the more I practice with maybe lighter, less triggering situations, that will build up my confidence to keep practicing, keep catching those voices in your head, keep catching your reactions when you want to run away, or fight or flight. It's a trauma response. Keep catching that happening. The more you do, the more you practice to self-regulate, give a hug to your hurt inner child, practice self-love, the stronger your mental ability will be to recover and come back to that centered, peaceful place. Okay? Even if the challenges are higher. Okay? Because I speak to so many moms who tell me, I was able to handle stress before I became a mom. So maybe your stress level was somewhere, and or the external situation around you, the stressors in your life outside of you, were at some level, and you were able to match it. So you felt in control. Now, you got married, you became a mom, first kid, maybe you could still manage. I couldn't manage even with one. There are moms who can manage still with one, then the second one comes. Whoop! The external stressors just doubled. And where is your ability to handle that, to match that? You need to keep practicing to get as high is the level of stress on the outside. Make sense? So it doesn't mean that it doesn't work because you cannot do it. You used to be able to stay calm, but now you cannot. Well, look at your life. Did something else happen? Did something add up on your level of exhaustion, on your level of difficulty? So what we don't want to do is we don't want to go and start beating yourself up with your judge, or go into your victim corner, blaming it on everybody else and on those conditions because it's their fault. It's the fault of life that it's just too tough and other moms have it easier. You can do that. It's logical, understandable. It's tough. It sucks, exactly as I said at the beginning. But that takes your power away. Your power is in recognizing, well, I can actually match up my level of stress resistance so that I can deal even with this. Because yes, we are working with lots of moms, single, divorced, expat, lots of abusive, coming out of lots of abusive, toxic relationships, and they make it. You can raise your level you can train yourself to still stay in peace and calm, no matter what's going on the outside. No matter what. I'm working with women who lost their husbands, who are going through incredible court battles, whose husbands were abusing them. Now they're abusing the kids. You cannot imagine the stories that I hear every day. And this is the path. Those are the exact steps I do with them. We just do in the one-to-one sessions what I cannot do here with you on a podcast. I cannot heal your trauma over a podcast. That's why I was telling you, work with a specialist. I cannot help you increase your mental fitness level in a podcast, because it's something that, exactly as I'm saying, takes practice. It's not overnight. Just give me the one trick and I'll be done for the rest of my life. No, actually, you will feel better already after the first 2 weeks of consistent practice and awareness and learning. But it is a lifelong practice. I am still practicing. My practice looks different now than it looked 3 years ago, but I am still practicing. Because there are still things I want to keep cleaning up, and there are still situations when I do lose my calm. Not with my daughter anymore, mostly that's cleaned up. But for example, with my dad, like with my family, because I don't see them too often. I'm an expatriate as well. But when I do, it's a reminder like, oh, okay, there's still something I need to look into. But this is what's possible. Okay? And that's why it's worth it. You are here not just for you. First of all, you are here for you to feel better and to feel more in sync with your emotions, not feeling like you need to run away from them, not feeling like you are, on the other hand, drowning in them because they're too much, but finding a balance where you see what those emotions are for, that they are all signals, that they all pass, just like waves on the sea. They are there for you to experience them fully and to experience the full range. Not just a little part of the spectrum, like on a piano, playing just the nice high notes or whatever notes you like. No, we as humans, we are here to have the full range of experience, not just the happiness and calm, but also sadness, exhaustion, frustrations, anger. We are here to experience it all and then come back to the center. Okay. That's what we are trying to do here for you. And then even wider, the ripple effect is that you are helping your children grow up in a healthy way, in a strong, resilient way, so that they learn how to regulate their emotions. They learn that they are absolutely lovable and perfectly imperfect, worthy of everything in the world, just because they are the way they are, before they become a good girl or a good boy. Okay. That's the best. I'm looking for the right word. And I'm not finding it. I can't describe it in words. This is funny. The closest that comes to mind is heritage. Like, that's the best thing. I'm sorry, I don't find a better word. That's the best thing you can ever give to your kids. Not toys, not even your time, quality time. The most important core, the core of what they need to learn from you is that they are 100% worthy of unconditional love, no matter what. That's what each of us long for since the moment we are born. Just that as a confirmation, because we know it's true when we are born. And then it just needs to keep being confirmed. That's what you want to do for your kids. That's the best anti-bullying insurance. That's the best anti-toxic relationships insurance. That's the best insurance, like antidepressant, anti-suicide prevention. This is the best thing ever you can do for your kids. If you do nothing else, then you've been amazing, mom. Congratulations. And there's never too late to go and turn on that path. I don't want to judge to beat you up now about how many years you could not do that. Well, that page turns now. So, eyes on the road, This is where you want to go, so go. Don't waste any more energy on beating yourself up, complaining, or feeling ashamed and guilty. No. You can help your kids recover. You, more than anybody else, any counselor, psychologist, whatever, you are not only the best parenting expert for your kid, but also the best counselor, the best therapist for your child, because all they ever needed, all they ever wanted was to feel loved by you. You are the most important person in their lives. So let this little podcast episode be a seed I'm planting in your mind right now, so that the next time you feel like you need to run away because your child is asking too much, lean in and give them what they need while giving yourself what you need. The space of calm and peace and feeling, consoling not only them, but consoling yourself in the moment as well. I did the best I could. I hope it was enough. Let me know how that works for you. Take very good care of yourself and of your family, Supermom. I'll see you the next time.